Hi guys, recently you might have seen the videos where we got the Celestion Redback delivered, broken in and reviewed. At the same time, I got another speaker delivered which was the Alnico Cream, and today's the day that we talk about that one and review it. So, how it sounds on its own, combined with other speakers, and where we might use it. So to explain why I've got the hold of the Alnico Cream to review, let's start from the start again, a lot like we did in the Redback video. But don't worry, this one goes off on a very different tangent. So as you may know, the first proper dedicated guitar speaker to speak of that we know was the Celestion Alnico Blue. There may have been others, but this is the one that's lasted through the ages and is still in use in the Vox AC30 as that classic combination. After a few years of production, Celestion found that Alnico was really expensive to make magnets out of. Alnico stands for aluminium, nickel, cobalt, and cobalt was becoming really hard to get. So the guys at Celestion looked into ceramic magnets, and so the Creamback was born. Very different sound, but affordable and higher power handling. The Alnico had more of a chime to it, but at roughly double the price per speaker, there's a reason guitar cab makers were picking the Creambacks. People didn't want to pay silly money for cabs when they could get a great tone out of the alternative. Some years go by, and guitarists want more power handling from fewer speakers. Celestion design higher power speakers, but they've all got this thick mid-range. It's great if you're a 70s rocker, but by the mid-80s, guitarists were looking for a sound with heavy bass and crisp highs. A lot like the Alnico, but without blowing up at the first sign of a power chord. And so, the Vintage 30 was born, designed to sound as close to the Alnico speakers as possible, but made with ceramic magnets. What they ended up with wasn't quite the same, it was a beast unto itself. The result there was such a success that rock and metal players around the world still use the Vintage 30 to this day. Fast forward from the mid-80s to present day, and science has moved ahead. Material choices have improved and understanding of speaker design is light years ahead of where it was. Enter the Creamback series, where Celestion have revisited their classic designs, but with much higher power handling per speaker. First the Creamback M and H, much like their relative Creamback counterparts, and now the Alnico Cream, which is very similar to the original Alnico Blue. Difference is, I'm not afraid of blowing it up. You see, because of this new design of the Alnico, it can handle 90 watts instead of the original 15, and I'm not afraid to record really heavy stuff with it. I always figured the reason I liked the Vintage 30 was because it sounded like the Alnico Blue, but with a cleaner bass response and more beef because of the power handling. So I figure, what would happen if I just replaced the V30 with the Alnico Cream in a mix? I always end up pushing the mids a bit in heavy guitar mixes, rather than turning them up, because it helps them sit better in a dense metal mix. So instead of doing that, why not use a speaker that actually has that rich mid, but also has a similar bright top and quite a tight bass response like the V30. So here's a mix with the Vintage 30 compared to the Alnico. So it's quite the difference, eh? So when we did the Redback video, we compared that speaker to a few others so you could get a reference. And it's only fair that we do the same for the Alnico Cream. So here we go. Now, the main reason that I got the Alnico Cream wasn't to be used on its own. In the studio as well as live, it's very common to use two different speakers in the same cabinet, usually to get a blend of the best features of each particular speaker. For instance, my usual go-to up until recently was a Vintage 30 for its bright punchiness and a Creamback H for the bigger sounding mid-range, although I've been known to use a Creamback M or a K100 for a different tone. So let's try the Alnico in these combos. I'm going to use two SM57s in the Fredman technique, where one is off axis to make a kind of a great blend. Then I'm going to move one of the mics over to the second speaker in the same relative place. So there you have it, a vintage design speaker with a not so vintage sound. It's a great alternative to something like the Vintage 30 if you've been looking for a solid rock or metal sound with more mid guts to go with that clear high end. This might be the one for you. It's definitely going to be on my recordings a lot from now on. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our patrons through Patreon who make these videos possible. Special thanks to Remy, Valois, Peter and Kerry. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, that really helps the channel grow and do more of this kind of thing, more of this kind of content. Hit like if you want more people to see the video, because that helps us with the search on YouTube, it means that more people see us. And don't forget to get engaged in the comments section, we really want to know what your opinions are on these sounds. We'll see you in the next video.